Hello everybody and welcome to Committed Gaming. I am Flute5311 and I'm here with our next Taken King kind of news roundup. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize for being absent for the weekly reset and the Zer videos. My Xbox crashed hardcore and I had to send it back and I still don't have it back yet. So hopefully sometime this coming week I'm going to get it back and I can be back in action and helping out and just getting back into Destiny. I was talking with Soul Slayer and he asked if I was going through withdrawals. I said, yeah, a little bit. A little Destiny withdrawal, especially since Zero Soul Galahorn this weekend. Luckily, I already have some. Otherwise, I'd have been really super pissed. But so luckily, I was okay. I wish I could have got some of those helmets. So they all had fantastic rolls. But c'est la vie, I guess. So we're going to dive right into it. In the background, you're going to see the Taken King Prologue trailer and the We Are Guardians video. Both of them, I'll have links for the description below so you can actually see them with the audio, but I just got them playing in the background. And I'm going to also have a bunch of screenshots coming up throughout this. Um, we've seen an absolute ton. We've had lots of information still coming from Game Informer. We've got lots of great announcements from Bungie. So I'm just going to kind of dive right into this, go through it kind of piece by piece as quickly as I can, and kind of give my 2 cents at the end. I'm just going to kind of start off first and foremost with weapons. We saw in the video that Game Informer put out with Luke Smith. Oh, by the way, so I'm not putting any of these videos or clips up from the Game Informer stuff. A lot of YouTubers have been getting dinged and copyright infringement stuff for throwing stuff up there. So I'm just not even going to mess with it. I'm just going to kind of have this stuff in the background and just let it go. This stuff is from Bungie, and they seem to be pretty okay with everybody throwing their stuff up because, that's advertising. But everything that's coming from Game Informer, they're getting super pissy about. So I'm just going to have this stuff in the background and some screenshots from Bungie, and that's going to be it. So anyway, so some of the interesting things that I saw in that one first video is that the guy was using Fatebringer, or the character was using Fatebringer on a level 26 mission of sort. The enemies are level 26, but his Fatebringer only had 10 rounds in it, so it looks like it was playing with that weapons 2.0 kind of modifier. Other things that I saw throughout, this is just kind of all the weapons section here. We saw an image with the sword again, but with no elemental damage. We saw this exotic auto rifle, which looks super sweet. Things that I saw with it though, it has arc damage. This is a primary exotic with arc damage, which we have not seen any primary exotics with a burn. We saw it kind of shooting the chain lightning out there, which looked pretty cool. It did seem to be like a combination bullpup style rifle with an AK-47. So bullpups are rifles that have the clips that go in the back. And so it's got the clip that goes all the way in the back as opposed to the standard AK-47 with the banana clip up front. But the stock part, the top part, looked kind of like an AK. So it looked pretty kind of sweet. It also had this little thing on the left side where it kind of showed where you were triggering like a hover mode. So I'm not sure what that's going to be. Kind of like the Warlock ability to hover. So I don't know. We'll see what that does. We saw pictures of a Grim Ghost. We saw the No Time to Explain, which is kind of looks like to be an exotic version of the Stranger's Rifle, which hopefully they turn it into a quest line kind of like the Husk of the Pit, and we can kind of upgrade it. And for those of us who don't have our Stranger's Rifles anymore, maybe they'll give us a chance to go back and get it, and then we can kind of upgrade. I think that would be cooler than just having a straight up new exotic. I think we need to kind of upgrade the Stranger's Rifle to an exotic. But it also had arc damage, so that was kind of neat. They've mentioned that there are going to be more guns in the Taken King than there were in all of Vanilla Destiny. Sorry, all this information is just coming from a lot of different places. So I just kind of I squished it all into just different chunks. So they're going to have more guns than launched with Vanilla Destiny. We'll be able to choose which weapons to equip in the towers. So, like when we walk around the tower, and you've got the Fatebringer on your last word on your hip. You can choose to have the last word, or you can choose to have your Thunderlord on your back, or you can pick whatever gun you want to display in the tower. Which is that's whatever, but it's just one more ability to customize your character when walking around, which is kind of fun. We've seen images of the Dead Orbit Scout Rifle and images of the Dead Orbit Auto Rifle, and they look super sick. Some of these images were taken from all the new Crucible map reveals. Some of them were taken from just other video clips. Anyway, they all look really sweet. We've now seen images and video of the Jade Rabbit actually firing. So it looks kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait a whole another year for us Xbox people to get it, but eventually we'll get it. Um, it was mentioned that some of the new green weapons that we'll pick up from the first mission are going to be powerful than our raid weapons. I mean, that may be true, but gosh, that seems a little bit dodgy way to do it to me, but we'll see, I guess. It sounds cool, but I just think I don't know, that's super lame to think that a green weapon is going to be outclassing my Fatebringer on that first mission, but we shall see. So yeah, they're going to have, I think that's kind of all I found up, kind of wanted to cover on the weapons. So with the story, we're going to be getting they're going to have a lot more game and story integration, which I think is fantastic. That's something that the game has definitely really needed. We do all these missions, but what do they mean? What are they actually doing? And so actually having them some sort of consensus of what we're doing is going to be fantastic. That way we kind of, or not consensus, but continuity of what we're actually doing and what it means in the bigger world. That's going to be great. It was talked about that in the when you go and you get your new super, when you go through that quest line, that you get to go through and you get kind of like kind of a mini mayhem mode. And for those who don't know, mayhem is going to be a new crucible mode where basically supers kind of come back very, very quickly, and it's going to allow you to kind of practice and get to learn your new super. And so just be basically running around, just blowing up probably a bunch of lower-ish tiered enemies, and just kind of really have a good time and get to learn your new super, which I think is going to be great. And then once you get to max level 40, a lot of new missions and stuff are going to start opening, which would be cool. It's kind of their Taken War build up, is what they're calling it, the Taken War section. So that'd be kind of cool to see. They talked about the Dreadnought having platforming areas, and that we're kind of the ones going out and setting up beacons and stuff, the patrol mission beacons. So that's really cool. As far as gear and leveling, we still, they're going to have a stream about that, and I'll cover all the new streams here at the end. Some of the things I'm still a little bit fuzzy on. They talk about, you can sacrifice weapons to upgrade others, and I don't know what that means. We've already kind of have a, quote, sacrifice system when you break it down for weapon parts, but I don't know what exactly. Some people are like, oh, you sacrifice them to fill in different nodes, or you get some, I don't know what it means. And everybody, everything coming out of Bungie is still saying, don't break down any of your old stuff. Don't break down any of your old stuff. And, so I think they're going to have that. One of the reasons why that's going to be the first stream that they're going to do is so that the people can kind of figure out how to best go through and retool their inventories to get ready. So I don't know. It would be super slick if you could kind of combine different weapons together, but I have no idea how that's going to work. So we'll see how that goes. So going along with our character leveling and new weapons and things like that, we're going to have new ghosts. These ghosts are going to provide various stat boosts, disciplines, or light levels, things like that. They're going to have perks that can, almost like a glimmer consumable, where if you get more glimmer from killing certain enemy types, they'll be able to make more like the planetary resources easier to find, kind of like some sort of resource radar. So that's pretty awesome. They're also going to be tooled to give us more story info. And so like on the top right of the screen, your little ghost will pop up and it'll say, who's talking to you, like who's kind of, well, let me take a step back. So if you're like walking along somewhere, on a planet or whatever, and you come across like a building or a statue or a dead enemy or type of something like that, your little ghost will pop up in the right-hand corner. And it'll either say like Ghost or Zavala or whoever is going to be giving you that bit of story background dialogue or whatever, and you kind of just tap X or whatever they're going to have you do, and it'll kind of give you some in-game lore and story, which is fantastic. I think that's great. I think it's definitely needed in the game. Luke Smith, I think, was in an interview mentioned it. Kind of like how we have Siri, that they wanted the Ghost kind of be a little bit like Siri. It's got a perfect role for the Ghost. I think that's great. Although I am going to say that I still really, really want the Grimoire in the game. I mean, there's so much amazing information and storytelling in the Grimoire that I really, really, really want that in game. I don't know how to get it in there. It would be very hard to do now. but it would be fantastic to get all of that in game. I think we're not getting enough of it. They're making a good attempt here to make it better, but I still think it would just, I don't know. I really want the Grimoire in game. Okay, so let's talk about the Ghost. We're going to go now into the Tower and talk about the changes that are coming with the Tower. We have already seen the kiosks starting to be implemented. They replaced our special orders person with a kiosk, which is kind of lame. I mean, it's whatever. I guess I didn't really know why she needed to replace. I think it would. I guess that's going to be where all the other emblems and stuff are going to be, because that's kind of what she basically held anyway. So I'm guessing that's that. Once Taken King drops, that's where all that stuff is going to be. We have Banshee now. Who's the arms guy, the gunsmith. He's going to have Arms Day, where you do a certain amount of rep with him, and then he'll get you an Arms Day reward to show up on Wednesday. It'll be Foundry guns with random perks. Now, it's interesting that it says you'll get this gun with random perks. Why would they say that? I guess it's not like you're getting an exotic of some sort, but the fact that they say that it's going to be in random perks makes me wonder if this is going to be the end of weapon reforging. They don't think it would really matter previously, because we would just go and take it back to the gunsmith and reforge it. But the fact that they kind of specifically say this gun is coming with random perks makes me wonder if you're kind of stuck with those perks until you have to grind out and get the one that you actually want. So I'm okay if we get rid of weapon reforging. I don't know. I think it was kind of, I don't know. That's a discussion for another day, but I personally would be okay if we got rid of reforging. I think, the Iron Banner weapons, that's cool. That's what makes them special, but I think everything else can kind of go away. The Vanguard Quartermaster, that one's going to be responsible for exchanging our class-specific materials over to the armor materials. So that's kind of interesting. We're going to have another use for the Vanguard Quartermaster. Zur, when he shows up, so at least he's still going to be there, he's going to be selling the 3 of coins. It's going to be a new consumable, and it boosts the chance of an exotic on the next boss kill. Now, I have no idea how much it's going to cost us. I don't know if it's going to be, that easy as saying, well, it's going to be 3 strange coins. Or if it's going to be, maybe the cost of a normal exotic, so maybe 17 strange coins or something like that. Who knows? But I think that's interesting. It kind of makes, maybe doing strikes and stuff a little bit more rewarding. But I worry that might be a little bit OP, and people will just be, just buying that consumable and just running strikes and going back and getting consumable, going back, getting consumable, going back. So I don't know, maybe if there's like a burn, you can just buy it once, or does it stack? If you buy like 4 of them, you are pretty much guaranteed to get an exotic. I don't know, who knows? But so that's what news coming with Zera. And the clips I've seen, Eris Moore has been moved from the top part to kind of down in the lower part, down where all the Crucible and Vanguard people are. Looks like she's just before you head up the stairs. So she was moved. In some of the cutscenes, you see the shipwright is actually working on Eris's ship. So maybe her ship finally, maybe that was the problem. Maybe it was broken down out top there. That's why she never was able to go anywhere. And they finally got her, a slot in the mechanic bay so she can bring it in and get it fixed. Who knows? But there is a cutscene there that kind of shows that. And Cade 6 is kind of going to be from what Luke Smith has said, he's kind of going to be looks like our comic relief. He was talking about, there's going to be some real gangster shit going down, with all the Oryx coming and all the doom and gloom and death, and he's going to be kind of like, yeah, but let's go do this strategy here. Let's just go YOLO this over here, and they kind of talked about his dialogue, his line that he gives, take me with you, and they've taken that and it kind of is saying, this is a character who doesn't really want to be in this tower. He's kind of just stuck here doing office work when he really wants to be out in the field. And so they're kind of hinting at maybe that these guys are going to maybe getting out of there. I don't know, it could be cool. But they're kind of setting Cade 6 up, who is Nick Fillion, who we all know and love, to kind of be a little bit more of a, like they said, the kind of the side, the kind of comic relief, the kind of, as they said, bring some levity to this DLC. So that'll be kind of neat to see kind of how he kind of comes in, and because no, we're not going to go do that. We're just going to just barge in there and do hunter things because let's face it, hunters are dumb, so who knows what they're going to do. So next we're going to talk about strikes. They're saying that they're going to be kind of revamping the strikes, that on subsequent playthroughs you're going to get different dialogue, you'll have different enemy types, so to kind of beef up the replayability of the game, which is cool. That's kind of neat. They are going to, if you're doing like strike playlists and stuff like that, they're going to have kind of like how Prison of Elders will summon, Varix will summon you if you're lagging back in the airlock. They're going to introduce that into strikes. So if you've got somebody who's AFK or just dinking around somewhere else, you'll get summoned and teleported forward, which I think is kind of cool. That'll be helpful. There are now going to be raid light mechanics that go through the strikes. Which makes you wonder if it's going to be harder or impossible to solo things. We've got a lot of people who like to do solo nightfalls or solo different strikes and stuff. And I wonder if these, if you require actual true teamwork to get some of these mechanics down, if we're still going to be able to solo these nightfalls and strikes like that. So that'll be interesting to see. One of the strikes that they've kind of talked about is going to be called the Sunless Cell Strike. And I'm going to try to pronounce this right. The Alok Hull Darkblade is going to be the main boss that we have to kill. And so basically he had challenged Oryx and was kind of leading a rebellion, and Oryx put him back in his place and shoved him back in this dark hole in the Eternal Darkness. And so the whole fight is going to be taking place in the dark, which I think is kind of cool, although I'm the guy who has to I run my screen on pretty bright. I don't know why. I've always been that way. Like video games, I've been playing for over a decade. I've always had my brightness up high so I could see. So when we go into the lamp section and stuff like that, I've got my brightness cranked up so I can try to just see what's going on. So I feel like that's gonna be a challenge for me just because I hate not being able to see anything. But it'll be cool to see. I mean, they have to allow us to see somehow. So it'll be cool to see what kind of mechanics they incorporate there into that strike. They say, the fight's in the dark, and then at the end you'll kind of have a little bit more information just on Hive lore and how their politics and how their system works. So that's kind of neat. The playlists are going to get revamped. There's going to be Vanguard. There'll be three different playlists. Vanguard Legacy, which is Vanilla Destiny, Dark Below, and House of Wolves strikes. There's going to be Vanguard Ursa, which is going to be all the strikes with heroic modifiers on them, and you can get legendary marks and legendary engrams. Cool. And then the last one is Vanguard Marmoset. Now, I have no idea why they called it Marmoset, the little monkey, but, whatevs. There were people joking about, how we went from dragons and rocks and, all these mythological creatures to a monkey. So, whatever. So, anyway, so that's going to be all the Taken King strikes. Next, they mentioned Nightfalls. This is going to be really slick. Nightfalls are going to have handcrafted modifiers. So I don't know if that means like each week they're going to sit and look at all right, how can we make this strike cool, interesting, super hard, make you feel overpowered like this week's Nightfall, which I didn't get to do, but you got Arc and Solar Burn, and so that just allows you to be completely OP and just go through and crush the Nightfall, which is really fun when that happens. When you just get to have all the modifiers stacked in your favor, and you could just go through guns ablaze and have a good time with it, as opposed to say like Omnigul. When you have Omnigul with Arc Burn, you're just like, oh gosh, and you just you're in for a long haul, which is fine. It's fun to have some of those harder strikes every now and then. So it'd be cool to see what they do to kind of really dial in some of these Nightfalls. It'd be neat to see. Next, this section is kind of big. We're going to talk about Crucible. We're going to talk about some changes in the new maps that they released. So, Crucible, we're going to have quests and bounties that go along with it. They kind of mentioned that you will now be able to get some story progression, through shacks and the factions. So that's cool. This is kind of interesting. There are going to be new bounties. They're going to be class specific, fire team specific, which I don't know if that means earn 4 strength of the wolves. I'm just trying to think of things that you could do as a fire team. Earn domination, stuff like that, where it takes your whole team to get those certain medals. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe, I don't know. I got nothing. Or maybe they're gonna do well, I don't know. That's could be neat. featured playlist bounties, trials bounties, and then they're going to have weekly bounties for big major rewards. So that kind of takes you back to like Call of Duty when it would have those big weekly bounties, which is kind of neat. Also, I noticed on what some of the when they were showing some of these new Crucible missions, Crucible maps, that there looked to be a precision kill indicator, like it would show who you killed, the weapon type, and then it had the little bullseye on there. So that's awesome that they're finally bringing in precision shot, headshot indicators. That's good. That's great. So let's see here. So we got 8 new maps revealed. Looks like one of them is going to be a PS4 exclusive. So I'm just going to run through these real quick. The first one they revealed is Bannerfall. Earth and the Tower. It's mid-size control. Each of these maps, they kind of had them all tailored to certain game types. So that's kind of cool. One of the neat things they talked about with Bannerfall is it kind of shows that they're the fourth an older fourth faction, which is kind of neat, and it's also apparently where New Monarchy began. The next one they showed was Frontier on Earth. They showed Crossroads on Mars. It was Vex. This is one of the 2 maps that has transporters on it. It has a main, and then it has like a side island that you can kind of go over there and fight on the side island, which is, I don't know, sounds kind of cool. Number 4 is Sector 618. It's Earth. It's in the Cosmodrome Wall. This is the PS4 exclusive map. Number 5 is the Ghost Ship on a reef, and it's an old fallen ship, which is really kind of cool looking. It's the smallest map, and it has low gravity effects. So like when you kill things, they just kind of float away. So I don't know, could be kind of slick if you just headshot somebody, just kind of drift. Goodbye. Number 6 is called Exile. It's on the it's in a Hive fleet in Saturn. They're saying it's a 3-lane map, long narrow. As soon as they showed the map, the first thing I thought of was Dark Souls. It's a really cool kind of gothic-looking sort of map. Number 7 is Memento. It's in the Euro Dead Zone on Earth. It's kind of similar to what was it, Widow's Court, also out there in the Dead Zone. And number 8 is Vertigo on Mercury, and this one has teleporters, but they're only one-way teleporters. So that's pretty interesting. So I'll have links to all this stuff. This is all, you can go watch, they had like 30-second previews for all of these on the Game Informer thing. So I'll link that down there. And this is where you see some of the weird kind of neat guns or different gameplay of different weapons. So, and the last final thing that we just got from Game Informer, they talked about how the Taken King is fixing a lot of the Bungie, Destiny's main issues. And they talked about how people who started the game got real mad if you didn't start right at the get-go. You kind of got behind, you got discouraged, you couldn't catch up, or there was just too much going on. You felt like RNG was against you, all this stuff. And it boils down to them saying, Taken King addresses these things and come back and give Destiny a second chance. So the first thing they talked about was the story. Big strides have been made to bring the story back in. They're saying that the story is not as deep or as big as BioShock, but it's closer to Halo. They're saying it's a huge step for Destiny, which it is. But I mean, I don't know. As a Mass Effect player, that's what I want. I want that level of story. I want to be crying when people die. I want to be like, oh my gosh, I want that level of relationship with my characters and people I play with. Let's see. They're talking about light system and just all the other confusing kind of leveling systems in the game. And so that they're embracing the RPG style of the game. And Luke Smith kind of talks about how that they were worried when this game first came out that it was a first-person shooter, it was an RPG, it was an MMO, it was all these things, and they kind of were afraid to dive into any of those too much until the player base got the game and they could see where this game really was heading. And now that they've kind of figured out where this game is going and where the community wants it to go, they can really fully embrace the RPG side of the game. So that's going to be really neat to see kind of where they take it. That they've dialed back, the light level and the just leveling system altogether. They kind of made it a lot more, make a lot more sense. The light level thing, I'm gonna kind of equate that to something, I don't know if it exists, but like battle readiness. You know, your actual level will go up to 40, and then your I'm gonna, like I said, your battle readiness. It's gonna look at your gear and says, okay, yeah, you'll be fine on this mission. You know, it's just like any other RPG, like Borderlands. Like, yeah, you can run around with crappy guns. You know, you've got enough level to get in, but you know, you're still doing 20 points of damage as opposed to 500, kind of thing. So that'll be kind of cool to see how all that works out. They're talking about the grind. Now it's how they're kind of rebalanced. They're trying to make this loot system a lot more balanced, and they compared it to Diablo or Borderlands. They didn't compare it to. They said those two systems had good balanced loot systems, that they were trying to shoot for that kind of deal, which is awesome. We talked about how goat shell system has been revived. Your class item system has been revived. That way, it kind of gives you more to grind for that you're going to be excited to actually get, and to make your character more customizable. And again, at the end of the thing, they just kind of talk about how it's just giving Destiny a second chance. That's kind of what's the most important. So that's all of the Game Informer stuff. Now we switch into what what Bungie has given us. And we've got 3 Twitch streams coming up on Wednesdays. The first one is going to be August 19th at 11 Pacific. That's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And this one is going to talk about Destiny Year 2. And I'm just going to read this straight to you. How will your personal highlights from the first year of Destiny translate to the second? What will your Guardian's lifestyle be like in the new and improved tower? How will your Guardian become a more powerful snowflake over the course of the next journey? Is it true that character level and light will rise in exciting new ways? All will be revealed and explained. Please don't dismantle anything until the full developer briefing. So that's awesome. We're finally going to get to figure out what in the world is going on with our character, and how to actually best prepare for the Taken King. On August 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Strike the Dreadnought. What's it like to infiltrate the Dreadnought? What surprises do the Taken have for us in combat? How are the boss battles different in the Taken King? Join us for a new strike against the rival Cabal invasion force. See the new Guardian subclasses in action, and witness the action that will begin in Year 2. So that's kind of cool. We got to get a feel for just how combat's going to roll out, and how that gameplay is going to mesh with our new subclasses. So that's kind of neat to see. And last, on September 2nd, same times, we have Court of Oryx. What mysteries lie in wait within the cavernous hull of the Dreadnought? How can Guardians plunder the treasures secreted away in the hideous labyrinth? Come along with us on patrol in the newest destination in your director. Learn how Guardians can instigate public events, behold challenges and rewards that await you on board the capital ship commanded by Oryx. Well, that pretty much sums it all up. We've got the streams all listed out there coming up, and yeah, I'm very excited. I'm excited to see what they're bringing to us. It almost makes me want hearing how they're reintegrating the story. They're kind of reshuffling the missions around so that they make sense. This it really makes me want to go back through and replay it all once it gets brought back out. I kind of have a plan to go through and delete one of my characters and start over. I'm gonna wait to see kind of how the missions and stuff progress, and maybe I'll do that. Just because I think it could be fun. And as I mentioned before, I would be perfectly okay. We're assuming that we're going to start out at level 34 or wherever we are now, wherever our quote light level is. But I would be perfectly okay if I get to restart it. If we started Taken King at level 20. I'm okay with that. That gives me, that makes the game last that much longer, right? Gives us more gameplay, gives us more bang for our buck, and I'm okay with it. Drags out just a little bit longer. Either way, I'm super excited about it. Yeah, I pre-ordered it, but none of this gives Destiny a free pass. They've got a lot to make up, a lot to do, and a lot to catch up on. They're having this huge media blitz, right? They have to. Bungie has to go all in on the Taken King, which is why they've got the Game Informer thing going all over the place, being their cover article and having it be their game hub. While they're going to have 3 more Twitch streams revealing all this stuff, revealing 3 subclasses that they have to have build all this hype back up to bring the Destiny community back. They have to basically have to double down on this thing because, as we talked about beforehand, you know, all the players who bought the big edition of Vanilla Destiny that came with the season pass, or that bought the season pass, you know, they've already paid for that content. That content that they've already paid for is done. It's game over for that content. And now there's really no reason for people to come back, you know, to buy more. And so the Bungie is really trying to drive home a reason to bring people back, to give them a reason to buy this next round. Because other than that, they're just going to sit on it. And so that's really why they're having to double down right now. And it's going to be great to see how it all turns out. I hope it goes well for them, because I truly love this game, and I really want it to keep going for the next, 8 years. 8 more years now. We're starting year 2. So, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to be on it. And hopefully my Xbox comes back and I can get back into action here pretty soon. So, yeah, let us know down in the comments below. What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you doing right now? Are you bored with Destiny right now? And if so, put it down. Walk away for a little bit. Having it gone for me for a week, makes you want to get back into it. So I kind of had unplanned break from Destiny. It makes me want to get back into it. So let us know down in the comments below. I know this was a really, really long podcast style show, but for me personally, I would rather have all my information in a one-stop shop. I would sit, have this on in the background at work or whatever, or if I'm out mowing the yard, and just have this playing in the background and just listening to all the information, as opposed to having to watch, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 videos, read 5, 6, 7 articles. So, I don't know. I hope you all enjoy this style. I really enjoy it. I like to be able to, commit to 30 minutes worth of work and have it all done and told to me, as opposed to going through just having to read all the articles, dig into all the videos and everything else. So, I don't know. I think I find it helpful, and so I try to present that to you all. So hopefully you all enjoy it. And yeah, we will see you all next time. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and to all you gamers out there, stay committed.